Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is the Zelda series' largest smash hit since Ocarina of Time. That's why I'm super excited that they're finally creating a Breath of the Wild 2. In this video, I've got 5 hopes that I want to see in Breath of the Wild 2. So I want you guys to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll get into it. So number 5, we have crafting. I think Breath of the Wild, it seemed like it was a system that was going to use crafting because you're already exploring the world. You're collecting different kinds of ores. You're collecting wood. You can already cook and customize your food. So I thought crafting would have been in it, but I think a crafting system could be very well implemented in Breath of the Wild 2, especially when trying to keep it fresh and new and everything. It seemed like from all the ore and everything, you would have been able to at least upgrade the Master Sword and make it into better forms or more powerful because of all the ore and everything. Like in A Link Between Worlds, like in A Link Between Worlds or other Zelda games where you could do that. Crafting seems like it was going to be implemented in Legend of Zelda, and the closest thing that we got to it was cooking up recipes and going to the Great Fairy and customizing and upgrading your sets of armor, which I spent a lot of time doing, especially right before the final boss when I finally played it. But I think crafting would be a great thing to implement going from here into the next Zelda game. Number 4, what I hope for Breath of the Wild 2 is that they have more diverse shrines. I love shrines in Breath of the Wild, and I love how many of them there were. I love that they all have different things to them, but the one thing I don't like is how they're all the same design. I think it would be cool if they had maybe a forest shrine or maybe a rocky shrine, just different scenery to each of them. But I do like how they all have mini little puzzles that you have to solve or something that you have to get through. I think adding more diversity to them, or having a water shrine or something, would be pretty cool, and not just the same old plain, just I guess Sheikah looking shrine. But also, I wonder how they would do it, how they would do shrines without having the monks or anything at the end. Or if you would still get spirit orbs, and maybe they would change what they're for. Instead of using the spirit orb for a heart container or a stamina vessel, they change it to something different. But I think that would be pretty cool, a change in scenery, and have more things that are suited to that scenery to actually use in that trial. Okay, so number 3, I hope they add conventional dungeons back to Zelda. So in Breath of the Wild, you have the 4 divine beasts, and I love how those dungeons work, because I love all the individual little things that you would have to move in order to go on to the next area in a dungeon or in a divine beast. But in this game, I hope that they add and go back to normal dungeons while implementing things that are similar to the divine beasts. Also, I hope that there's more dungeons, because we only got 4 in basically Hyrule Castle, if that counts. We had the divine beast plus Hyrule Castle, which as big as the world is, you would think there would be way more dungeons. I know that's where the shrines come in, but that's another thing that I really want to see. And hopefully they have mini bosses. Then you have the dungeon boss that you'd fight at the end. And hopefully I hope you actually get how you would in other Zelda games. You get your item for that dungeon, and then you'd use it during the second half. And I hope it goes back to all that, the dungeon map, the compass, all that stuff. I hope we get to see it come back in Breath of the Wild 2. Okay, number 2, I hope they add a more complex story. I think it's pretty obvious, since they're making a second game, that they are going to have a more complex story. I mean, we see Link and Zelda going through the cave and finding Ganondorf, and he comes back to life. Then the Hyrule Castle goes up into the air. So obviously there's something more going on. And they said they started it based off ideas for DLC. That's what they used to create Breath of the Wild. And then they probably expanded off of that. But a Zelda game with like a ton of story, that's what I like. Like Breath of the Wild, I like how you had all the memories, you went back and saw everything, and then also all the extra memories and things you saw from the DLC pack 1 and 2. But that would be great. I hope we get to see returning characters, returning areas, maybe some more explanations about the hero and the princess 10,000 years ago. So yeah, I think that would be pretty good. Okay, number one, and the thing that I want to see in Breath of the Wild the most is I want to see swimming in caves. So I think the natural, since they're using this whole world again, I think the natural way for them to add on to it is to add either a cave system or maybe you can swim. And I think that would really open up the world and you'd be able to reuse areas that you already have to their maximum capacity. I think a cave system, I think they could hide dungeons in there. You could add new types of ore. In the first Breath of the Wild 2 trailer that they showed off over a year ago, you actually had Link and Zelda going through a cave, and hopefully something like that is something we can experience. Hopefully they have new enemies in there, have all sorts of puzzles and everything. Hopefully there's a whole subterranean world. That's what I really want to see, and maybe we'll see like Zonai ruins or something down there. But also swimming, I want to see swimming because that could also open things up in more ways. We'd be able to see corals and everything in the ocean, or like even if you go into like Lake Hylia, that'd be cool. They could have a dungeon down there, kind of like in Twilight Princess, and then new fish that you can actually catch and get and everything, and also new enemies that would be down there, along with dungeons, and probably, hopefully, some more Zonai ruins. But I think that's how you really expand. Maybe you could give Link a boat or anything to traverse, or maybe we may even see the Master Cycle Zero off the bat. You could go in the caves, or maybe you could have like some kind of floating wheel option to go on water. I think that would be a pretty cool way to open up Breath of the Wild 2 and add more to it, while keeping a gigantic world, keeping the world we already have, and adding to it. Honestly, I think we'll probably see most of the things in this list, but the thing that I think the most won't probably be in it is the swimming in caves, but everything else, I think that's a good way for them to expand, and I think that's how they will expand in the future of Breath of the Wild 2. So in the comment section, I want you guys to tell me what you guys want to see in Breath of the Wild 2. Tell me what your favorite thing is about Breath of the Wild and what you want to see come back. And also, I've been Bro Show. I want you guys to check out the channel. I want you guys to subscribe, to like the video, and by liking the video, you'll show me that you want more videos like this. So, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.